If you have a Tenere 700, you know the windscreen just isn't cutting it above 45 miles per hour. So how do we fix that? Well, we're gonna look at the adjustable sliders and also an add-on to the windscreen to see if either of these will fix the buffeting that comes off this windscreen. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. If you haven't done it yet, do that thing down below. All right, if you have the Tenere 700, you know the windscreen just isn't cutting it above 45 miles per hour. And there are a few different options besides replacing the windscreen. And some of the more popular ones are these sliders for the windscreen that replace or go in place of where the existing connection is now and then allow you to adjust the windscreen up and down. So I'm gonna give this a try to see how this works. And if I'm not happy with that, or if it's not sufficient, I'm also gonna try just adding a little, I'm also gonna try just adding a windscreen extension, but I would really prefer to be able to adjust it. So if I know I'm gonna be doing a lot of road riding, I can move it up, and when I know I'm gonna be getting off-road and I don't want that screen up tall, or if I need to get a little bit more air through because I'm not going as fast, I can slide it back down. So if this is something that interests you and you're trying to figure out what to do with your windscreen, stick around. Let's start with the sliders. So the point of this is to mount the windscreen in here. It's going to, well, if I put them in right, it's basically gonna bolt up right in here and give about 4 inches of adjustment, which is a lot. However, it's also going to create a 4-inch gap in here where some other wind may come in. Now that actually might alleviate some of the vacuum that occurs behind the windscreen. So I'll have to wait and see what that does and see if it generates any other wind noise. The good thing about these, I paid like $20 for them, so it's a very cheap way to see if this will function and do what I want it to do. So I will get that mounted up. I probably won't show that because it's basically unbolt and bolt back up. Now the other thing with the windscreen extension, I paid $20 for this as well, just to give it a try, just in case this doesn't work because of the gap that it creates in there. So I have some options to try to solve this before going forth and purchasing a new windscreen, which I really don't want to do. I don't want a tall windscreen on a bike that I'm planning to ride off-road some, nothing very technical, but I would rather have the ability to adjust it up and down. So I will show you what this looks like both in the down and up position once I get these installed. And then I have about a 250 mile ride tomorrow that's going to include some high-speed riding, 70, 75 miles per hour, plus some twisties through the mountains, high elevation, you know, going slower. I don't know if I'll do any off-road, but for this, it really doesn't matter for the testing. So let me get these installed and we'll go from there. Final assessment of the windscreen adjuster. Real quick, I did not use the deflector that goes on top of this. One, I forgot to bring it. And then after putting this in the high position, it just didn't really make sense. And I didn't want to put it in the low because it's not any wider than this windscreen is. So if I can't get what I wanted to do out of this windscreen and the adjusters, then it just wasn't going to happen. So yesterday it was extremely windy in the afternoon, which made it really challenging to try to get a feel for this in different positions. And so today it's been snowing and raining off and on. I got out for a little bit, and what I can say is in the low position it's good up to about 45-50 miles per hour, which is the standard windscreen, and then you start picking up quite a bit of wind noise. With this in the extended position, it goes to about 60-65 before you start getting an equivalent amount of wind noise. So it does make a huge improvement over the speeds that you can go before you start getting that wind noise. I expect I will keep this in the high position for a majority of the riding. When I am going to go off-road, I can slide it back down. It'll be most useful going to the BDRs, having it all the way up. When I get to that, slide it back down. The other thing I noticed yesterday when riding, and it was so incredibly windy, and even today when it's not quite as windy but there's a bit of a breeze, is that the envelope of which you sit behind the screen is very, very narrow. And I was having to kind of adjust myself back and forth depending on which way the wind was coming from to try to find a little pocket I could sit in. So nice, smooth, non-windy conditions, it won't be a problem. However, yesterday and even a little bit today, there's still a breeze blowing. This just doesn't provide a lot of protection, so you just have to figure out and find a place where you fit in. Now, as you can see in here, is I put, I'll move this up real quick. I'll slide this up. That there. And I really, with the screen up, I really didn't like that huge gap that was in here. So last night I modified this to put this protecting, I don't know, this additional screen in here that keeps bugs from getting into the display, and then also keeps rain and stuff from penetrating in there. The bottom of this matches the windscreen in its original position. I cut out the top to make it so I could get to the bolts to get those in when I was putting the screen in. I think overall it provides a better look. Also on the inside, I overlapped to keep this gap out of here. I didn't like that gap in there, and the higher the windscreen went, the bigger this gap got. So I put in there and then filled this area up. I really can't tell if it makes a wind difference based on yesterday. It was just so incredibly windy, but I think for aesthetics and also protecting the screen back here, I thought it was worth doing. So those are my thoughts. If you have a Tenere and you are wanting to put these adjusters on and you're interested in a template that I used for this, send me an email and I'm going to trace this template, like half of it, out on a piece of paper, and you can fold it and get the second half. But I'll mail it to you if you want, or I'll email it to me and I'll scan it and I'll send you a PDF with the template for this. It was pretty easy to do. It didn't take long. I just used a trash pail to cut it out. I think there's probably a more elegant way of doing it, but that's what I did. So anyway, just trying to get the windscreen, the noise, the buffeting better on this. I think it is better. It's still not great. Just gonna have to deal with it the way it is and know that 65 miles per hour and faster is gonna be loud. And I don't want to go with a bigger windscreen because there just isn't room for it here. So anyway, that's my thoughts on these adjusters and putting them in and trying to improve it and what I did here. So hopefully you found this useful, just something I was trying to do. I knew this was going to be an issue with this bike and trying to do what I can with it. If you have any other thoughts, leave those in the comments below. If you have came up with your own solution that has helped wind buffeting above 65 miles per hour, also leave that in the comments below. I'm really interested in that. So thanks for watching. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there.